Hey, what's up, YouTube? George here, Trading Futures Live, pre-market analysis for August 12th, Friday, August 12th, 2022. Let's go ahead and get right into it. I'm going to be rolling solo again today, but not a big deal. Like Python said, I got you guys with me. In the news today, 10 a.m., we do have consumer sentiment. Haven't had any, well, we did have import prices. Worse than expected. And we have consumer sentiment at 10 a.m. Today, so we're going to need to be aware of that when that 30-minute candle closes. Looking ahead to next week, not much early. We do have manufacturing index on Monday, and we do have some industrial production and housing. There we go. Building permits and housing starts on Tuesday at 8:30 a.m. It is a yellow folder, but with inflation and recession, building permits and housing starts are going to be an important number to give signals for that type of economic news. And then on Wednesday, core retail sales month over month. So those are going to be the red folders. We do have the Fed meeting minutes from the previous FOMC meeting and rate hike. So we do have that at 2 p.m. We're not normally online for that, but we do have that at 2 p.m. and then some other folders, but not any major news next week like we had this week with CPI and PPI. If we go ahead and take a look at the charts, if we go ahead and take a look at the charts here on the weekly, we see that the ES has continued to push up. We had the spike of CPI that broke this pivot, but we're at the top of the zone and struggling to break the zone there, and we have not reached the trend line. Something I would like to point out today, comparing it to the NQ, if we take a look here at the NQ has made it to that trend line. This is essentially the same trend line on the ES that it hasn't made it to. The NQ has also made it to this pivot point. This is the pivot that the ES broke, but still has a little bit more to go to get up to here. So the NQ is at an inflection point where it needs to decide, right, are we going to break through this trend line and continue to go up, or is this going to be a reversal point to come back down, right? It looks to us that on the ES we may have some more room to go. I wasn't at long early, and so I was potentially trying to take the ES up to this level. It did not make it. It's been held down, and so just something to be aware of. If we're going to be long, we want to make sure that the NQ is breaking long. I have a zone here on the daily that I drew out here, and so this is kind of the line in the sand for me on the NQ. Above this, we'd be looking for longs. Below it, still looking for shorts. It could come and retest and continue to come down. I mean, it could retest and then come back and test the top of the trend line and shoot back up, but really confirmation would be above this zone for me to be long NQ, and that this rally wants to continue. So moving back to the ES, which is what I trade on the weekly, still technically bearish, lower lows and lower highs. And I do think we've had basically a strong month. We went sideways there for about a month, and we've had a strong push up, even breaking this pivot. Could certainly see some sort of exhaustion and pullback from this point, but we're not here to predict. We're here to do what the market tells us to do. If we're look at the daily, technically I'm bullish on this time frame, but again, we do have this level up here that we do need to be very aware of. I do think it's a potential target area for this. but we'll need to wait and see. We're still inside of the day's range of yesterday, which wasn't really an overly wide-ranging bar. It was essentially a ranging day. We did break out early, but got quickly rejected off back down, and so neutral, bullish on this time frame on the daily. If we go to the 60-minute though, let me turn this off. If we go to the 60-minute, right, we got rejected off last night or yesterday morning, and I'm curious to see what happens when we get back up here. So definitely going to have a zone marked out at these highs from yesterday. Definitely going to have the overnight high marked out here as my pre-market resistance level. I do like this pivot here. As a support area, certainly the overnight low and yesterday's lows as well. I'm gonna mark it out as a rather large zone right now, but I'll refine it maybe later on to the overnight low and then another zone down here. Let's just do that right now. And then the market opened basically here, but we're going to mark out. So we've got quite a few levels down here to be aware of. And I also like all of these tops here. So quite a bit of demand levels. And we certainly want to be aware of that level to the top side, excuse me. And so those are going to be the levels that we're going to be taking a look at. As usual, if we break out to the upside, we'd potentially be looking to get long. If we start to see some rejection off of up here though, again, we're going to try and get short. If you guys remember, I was long in this spike up. I did get stopped out in this same hourly candle. We did get a retest though, and I wrote it down. I actually got over 2.5 R on that trade. That was after the live session though. So those are going to be the scenarios to the upside and to the downside. We're going to be much more cautious to the breakouts. I'm going to be potentially looking more, depending on the internals, to go long. I'm going to want to see it certainly break yesterday's low before thinking about maybe getting short here. But remember, on the daily, I'm neutral bullish, but we still haven't broken out of yesterday's range. And so we're going to be very cautious, potentially looking more for reversals until we do break out of the range. This looking more at something like another pullback to then get long here. So those are going to be the scenarios we're looking at going into the open today. Thank you guys for joining us. We'll catch you in a few minutes at 9:25. We'll go live. Thanks, guys.